Have you ever felt like you re-stuck in a cycle of buying things you don't really need? That's the topic of today's video, and I want you to pay close attention because maybe a shopping fast is exactly the solution you've been looking for. I went almost 2 years without shopping, from roughly 2020 to 2022. It wasn't just because I wanted to, it was partly by choice and partly out of necessity. I didn't have much money or purchasing power back then, but it was precisely during this time that I truly educated myself financially, and that's when I saved my first 100,000 reais. The goal of the shopping fast was never just to save money, it was to educate myself while I was saving. Let me take you back a bit. As a teenager, I really disliked my hair. It wasn't straight, it wasn't curly, it was just this undefined, wavy mess. I was convinced the problem was that I just hadn't found the right product yet. So I bought everything: hydrating masks, nourishing masks, reconstructive masks. Every single time a new product launched, I just had to try it. It got to a point where I had an entire drawer overflowing with hair products, even though I was earning very little. And you know what changed in my hair? Absolutely nothing. At the same time, I was moving into new social circles. You know, that transition phase into adulthood. You want to keep up. You want to fit in, you want to be like everyone else. And whenever I felt like I wasn't fitting in, my solution was to buy things. Everything looked beautiful, everything seemed necessary, but nothing was actually a priority. That's when I finally decided to stop. So I set up some rules for my shopping fast. The first rule was simple. Don't buy anything I already had at home. If I had 3 hair masks, I would only buy a new one after I had completely finished all 3. This applied to everything: makeup, nail polish, clothes. And that's where I learned my first big lesson. Inventory is idle money. We accumulate so much stuff, and all that idle stuff is just money sitting there, often losing value. I had a whole case full of nail polishes, probably around 100 little bottles. You might think, oh, but they're only 8 or 10 reais each. But when you add it all up, it's almost 1,000 reais. 1,000 reais just sitting there. If that money were in the bank, it would be earning interest. If I had invested it in a course, it could have changed my life. But instead, it was all just sitting in a drawer, expiring and forgotten. It took me months to use up everything I already had at home. And that's when I realized I was buying enough to last me a whole year without any real need for it. This led me to another powerful realization. When everything is a priority, nothing is a priority. I learned that priority means focusing on just one thing. When you try to prioritize everything at once, beauty, money, status, pleasure, you end up prioritizing nothing at all. For me, 2 priorities became crystal clear: saving money and taking care of myself intelligently. Instead of wasting money on dozens of creams that didn't work, I decided to solve the problem at its root. I started getting hair Botox treatments. It was cheaper, and it actually worked. The excess was gone. Suddenly, saving money became a pleasure. Seeing an extra 300, 400 reais in my account every month, watching it grow. It became just as satisfying as buying something new. The more you save, the less you want to spend on frivolous things. Because you don't want to go backward. It's a simple choice. Either you increase the sacrifice or you diminish the dream. You can't have both. We only truly change when we burn our bridges. As long as there's a plan B, a safety net, we don't really commit to change. That's our comfort zone. When I decided I won't buy anything new until everything I own is gone, I burned the bridge. At first, it was uncomfortable. I felt lost, restless. But that discomfort is exactly where the transformation happened. I understood that we are all capable of educating ourselves today. People ask me, how can you see everyone buying new things and not feel the urge? And the truth is, I do feel it sometimes, but it's no longer a compulsion. I'll see something, think it's pretty, and then the feeling just passes. Fashion comes and goes. In 2 months, that item won't make any difference in my life. This mindset shift only happened because I trained my mind. Here's a key takeaway. When you take away one pleasure, you need to create another one to fill its place. If your greatest pleasure is shopping, stopping cold turkey will leave a void. And that void needs to be filled with something positive. I channeled my energy into other things. Exercising, taking better care of my body, and building discipline. Today, my hands are calloused from the gym. Not because I instantly loved it, but because I understood it would be good for me in the long run. Pleasure can be built. You are so much stronger than you think. At the beginning of a journey like this, you'll think you can't handle it. You'll question everything. You'll want to give up, but every single day that you keep the promise you made to yourself, something powerful is born. Of confidence. You become a woman who says what she'll do and then does it. A woman who starts things and actually finishes them. That changes everything. It's a lot like developing a taste for something. When your palate improves, it doesn't just go back to how it was before. I went 2 years without drinking soda. Today, I love sparkling water, something I used to hate. The same principle applies to money, consumption, discipline, and life itself. You transform from the inside out. And you don't have to be as radical as I was. You don't have to commit to 2 years. You can start with just 1 month. Start small. The most important thing is not to give up halfway through, because giving up is the most expensive mistake you can make. If you start, see it through to the end. I really hope this video made sense to you and gave you some inspiration. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.